Electricity Minister Kgosientsho Ramokgopa has met with his Mozambican counterpart, Carlos Zacarias, to try and resolve South Africa's ongoing electricity crisis. The Mozambican government has helped us keep the dark at bay by availing a few hundred megawatts of power and over the next few months. Well, eNCA's Heidi Giokos was there following this discussion. She's back now to give us an update of what happened in that meeting. You know, Heidi, I was thinking about this, that I never could have imagined that one day South Africa, this mighty South Africa, will be getting electricity from Mozambique. Never imagined it.
Exactly, and it's definitely a reality. It's happening. These talks have been going on for some weeks now. We do know that Minister of Electricity, Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, decided to, I don't want to say went with a begging bowl, because I think, okay, I will say
That's how I imagined him when he was in Maputo last week. I thought he went there with a begging bowl to say, hey, camaradas, we need some help in Africa do Sul.
That's literally what has happened. He has gone to Mozambique and he has asked for any sort of assistance in terms of adding additional megawatts onto the grid. We do know that South Africa is in a crisis, an energy crisis. We need to get our electricity sorted out. The economy is not growing as it should. And this is exactly what the minister was saying when we asked him the question, but why would you go to Mozambique? This just shows the inadequacies and incapability of Eskom to provide its main objective. Eskom is there to provide electricity and it's not doing so. So why would you have to go all the way to Mozambique to ask for this? I think what's even more confusing is the fact that it's not even that much. It's 100 megawatts for now, and then an additional 600 megawatts. The golden number is to get over the 44,000 megawatts that we currently need. Currently, at the moment, we have about 36,000 megawatts, and the minister's saying as much as we can to get additional megawatts. If it means going
every little bit counts, as they say in Afrikaans, biki biki mak meer.
Yes, exactly. And this is the whole point that the minister's saying, that they want to find a way to get as many megawatts onto the grid, and if Mozambique is offering it, why not? Let's listen to what the minister had to say about this.
We'll be able to get 100 megawatts immediately. Of course, that's subject to a more technical discussion. When I say technical contracting between Eskom and the equivalent, Eskom equivalent in Mozambique, EDM, so the technical teams will sit. But what we know is that 100 megawatts is available now. And then in the next 6 months, there's another about 600 megawatts that is available to South Africa. But what we know is that for us to be able to ensure that when we end load shedding, and we ensure energy security. It's not something that we are going to achieve energy security in the next 3 to 5 years, and I guess it will be subject of that conversation. So I'm not just looking at a winter intervention. I think it's going to be much longer than that, and it will be part of that discussion. And like I said, transparency, I'll share that with the country, just the length of that agreement. And of course, as we begin to get more renewables on stream, we want to get the economy back on its feet. You just need additional energy to underpin, if you like, the recovery efforts.
Okay, we're getting 100 megawatts. There'll be more. Did you say 600 more in a few?
Yes, an
That's
additional.
building up to the 44,000.
Yes, and
we're sitting at 36,000.
Yes, so I think what's imperative here is that the minister made it very clear that it's not a short-term plan. So it's going to be a long agreement.
But where's it going to come from? I mean, Mozambique has got the Caurabassa hydroelectric power station in Tete. I visited it there in the 80s. Very big and impressive there on the Zambezi River. Yeah. I don't know if power is going to be coming from there. Did they say?
Yes, so it's going to be hydro as well as gas. We know that gas is very prominent in Mozambique. So the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy in Mozambique was, of course, present
today.
Say his
name, Carlos Zacarias.
No, we're not saying his name. My dad, wherever he is and he's watching, he would not be impressed.
I get it.
So he was there today, of course, meeting with the Minister of Electricity. And it was a very short meeting, which I found very interesting, because we were told as the media to be there at 12 o'clock today, and they pushed it to way earlier. But the meeting was apparently only 40 minutes. It seems as though the two ministers get on very well. They came to an agreement.
Maybe the deal was sealed in Maputo when Ramokgopa was there.
Yes, 14 days ago or so. And we do know it's definitely going to be hydro and gas. The Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy in Mozambique making it very clear that he's willing to assist South Africa because he understands the energy crisis and he understands what economic impact it's having and the devastation it's having on South Africa. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Carlos Zacharias.
Well, as you know, we hold very big gas reserves. And one of the solutions that we are bringing for short to medium terms is based on gas from Pandentemane, which, by the way, is exported to South Africa. So if we start looking into things, we see that we have a long-term cooperation that started a long time ago. And this is part of the increase of this cooperation, and especially in this phase when we understood that there is a lot of problems in South Africa, and we could contribute with the generating capacity that we have without causing any problems at home. So we can quickly, after both entities conclude discussions at technical level, start supplying that to South Africa. So one is from gas, as I said, but we have on the long term hydropower project, the Mpandankua, that is totally green.
They're using their rivers there very well. That hydropower, that other dam. No, I think it's good. I mean, that we knocked on our neighbor's door and they're able to help us. Maybe they understand the importance of the energy crisis. South Africa is a super economic power, so to speak, the second biggest economy in Africa. So what about the low stages now? Let's come home of our low stages of load shedding. And I must point out, there's nothing to celebrate. We should be at stage 0. Now, they are getting lower, we're getting a bit of relief. That's how I look at it. But ideally, there should be no load shedding at all.
Exactly, and we shouldn't celebrate when we are told that we're on stage 3 load shedding. Why are we on stage 3 load shedding? We understand what the challenges are, but at the end of the day, South Africans pay for a service, we pay for electricity and we don't get it. But the minister's saying that this once again shows how they're on this drive to make sure that they reduce load shedding to the lowest stage and then eventually to have no load shedding. I did ask the question as to how exactly, for example, load shedding was suspended for parts of today. We had no load shedding. We've now moved back to stage 3 load shedding. And the minister's saying that what's important is when the demand is low, they are able to, for example, maintain some of the generating units because they are unreliable and they need to be maintained, and that's often not happening. The minister, however, does say that we are not out of the woods as yet. And we need to be very careful because as we move further and further into the winter season, the temperatures drop, the demand picks up, and we could move into higher stages of load shedding. Again, he's emphasized we are nowhere near stage 8, but we have to be very cautious in terms of how much electricity we consume at this stage and making sure that we do not go to anywhere near to stage 6.
So we need to do our part wherever we can to use electricity sparingly and safe. Just a thought, you don't have to answer because you've interviewed Minister Ramokgopa so much. I'm just wondering, does ESCOM now need a CEO? Because this minister goes to power stations, he rolls up his sleeves, he gets it done, and there's load shedding stages are going down, and they still don't have a CEO. So do they need a CEO?
Can I answer?
Yes.
Probably not. That's why one hasn't been appointed as yet.
Interesting answer. We'll have to follow up that. Thank you very much. Heidi Giokos, they're just giving us the latest about the developments of South Africa getting 100 megawatts from Mozambique, neighboring Mozambique, a combination of power coming from gas and hydroelectric power. It's going to be increased to about 600 megawatts in the next few months, and all that in the effort by Kgosientsho Ramokgopa and ESCOM to build up towards that 44,000 megawatts that's needed. We're currently sitting somewhere above 36,000, and slowly we're inching up there. Hopefully, he'll be successful.